844-4752. They have trained more than 400 people to respond to immigration arrests or raids. And they're actually looking for more volunteers as the threat of raids looms in Los Angeles. Something really interesting as well. This hotline was set up back in 2016, and it goes dormant for times, and then it's reactivated when they see a need. And now they're seeing.
I was just going to say, obviously, there's a big need. We have had conversations about, when you're talking about some of the immigrants that are here, legal rights, and they have the right to an attorney as U.S. citizens do. You informed us about that. Also, what other resources are available to them?
Yeah, so this is an important resource. There are a few other crowdsourced websites that are similar where people can just file a report whenever they see something suspicious. One of the challenges with that is that there's a lot of confusion when it comes to who is ICE and who isn't. Here's an example. People are seeing a lot of Department of Homeland Security vans around Los Angeles, which is the agency that oversees ICE. The problem is that that agency also oversees FEMA. And right now we have a lot of
Fire recovery.
Exactly. With the fire recovery, we have a lot of DHS vans driving around because of FEMA, right? And so there's a lot of opportunity for miscalculation, misinformation on these kind of crowdsourced apps. And so we need to just be careful if you do use those apps that you don't accidentally misinform people.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. There's a lot going on right now in Southern California, different agencies here trying to help. Kathleen, thank you so much as always.
Thank you so much, Calvin.
All right, well, with the recent wildfires, they're shining a light on department budgets and the resources that they need. Jamie Kennedy gives us a sneak peek.
It may be raining and the fire ain't alone, but that doesn't mean we're stopped for fire crews. Coming up, we take a look at how many fire departments are struggling to provide some emergency services.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Arfolian and Arfolian, a firm to remember for all your legal needs.
If it's actions that speak louder than words, we let the versatile, adventure-ready BMW X3 show you what you need. Hurry in to the BMW President's Day sales event and receive exceptional offers through March 2nd. Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Spectrum Reach's TV advertising is built for connected fans like yours. With the right audience,
What you
wherever
looking
they
at?
are, you'll be your premier video partner across linear TV and streaming with access to the Spectrum TV app, the most watched streaming service in the country. When you advertise with Spectrum Reach, you're entering a universe of over 30 million households, 60 plus linear networks, and more than 450 streaming networks and partners. So when your brand is ready to build for what's next, Spectrum Reach's TV advertising is built for results. Spectrum Reach, built for what's now and what's next.
Southern California is by listening to what they have to say. We need to be a part of our community in order to really understand what's in the minds of our viewers and what they want to hear about. And if it matters to you, then you'll find it here. And that includes your weather on the ones. Your weekend on Spectrum News 1, Saturdays and Sundays at 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Available on all your favorite devices.
All right, you're taking a look at the Santa Monica Pier. Oh, no, you're not. Actually, you're taking a look at Riverside. You can see some flooded roads there. People trying to get to where they need to go. But just a reminder that it only takes 6 inches of rain to potentially stall your car. Once that water gets into your car, it leads to a pretty dangerous situation and also damage to your car. So never drive through flooded roads, friends. Just turn around and down and stay out. We really want people to get seriously. Santa Monica Pier, you can see a little bit of sun coming out. So this is the rainbow after the storm. We do have a pretty nice weekend ahead. We're going to be warming up too. But out the door, 51 degrees in Ontario, 30 degrees in Big Bear. Still nice and cold across the mountains, and we are tracking some snow. announcements this morning. The rainfall, you can see, pretty impactful for the month. We are in a surplus, friends, which is great considering that we started out the season very dry. Almost 5 inches of rain for downtown Los Angeles for the month. And we stay pretty dry as we head throughout the next several days, so this is going to be the most rain that we'll see for a while. Pasadena 66 as we head into Saturday, so warming up as we get into our weekend. By Sunday, we'll be in the low 70s, so really comfortable as we get into our Sunday because we have high pressure rebuilding across the west coast as that storm exits, and all the moisture is going to go with that. We do have some clouds spreading in from the west, so it's going to be kind of a dirty ridge as we get into our Saturday through Sunday, just meaning that it won't be the brightest, but it'll still be very nice to get outside. Then we have a cold front sweeping through, and this is not going to be the same type of cold front that swept through yesterday that brought us the really gusty winds, the really heavy rain. This is a dry front, but our temperatures will be dropping a little bit as we get into our Monday, just a smidge, and then by the middle of the week, we'll go back up again. So we have a really nice weather to enjoy as we head into the middle towards the end of our February. 59 degrees for Simi Valley today, 59 also in Santa Clarita, 60 in Burbank. 50 degrees in Acton. The temperatures today will still stay in the upper 50s. A couple of those 60s out there, like in Inglewood, 60 degrees. Same for Long Beach, 60. Across the IE, 54 degrees in San Bernardino, 57 in Paris, Anaheim, 60 degrees. 57 degrees in Temecula today for your high. Warmer as we head into our Saturday and our Sunday. Once again, temperatures will be cooling down just a bit for your President's Day if you have the day off. As we head into our Wednesday, 74 degrees for your high. And then pretty comfortable weather. We do have some breezy conditions out there today, too, especially across the high desert.
All right, well, I have to check to see if I have Monday off. Do I have President's Day off? Am I here with
I
you?
do.
You do? All right, I guess I'm here. All right, let's go down. Wait, I'm
That's
here?
okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
here.
Thank you all. As emergency workers work to clean up areas after the rains, fire chiefs from across the country have been converging on Washington, D.C., and one of their main priorities is highlighting the growing issue of costs outpacing budgets. Jamie Kennedy explained.
It may be raining and the fire danger low, but that doesn't mean emergency calls stop for fire crews. I'm Jamie Kennedy, and many fire departments are struggling to provide some emergency services due to financial constraints.
Longtime Nevada County homeowner Michael Thompson vividly recalls when his neighbor's house caught fire a year ago.
I looked out the window, there were 7 fire trucks and an ambulance. Fire chief was here, and the house was smoking.
Fire officials say an occupant was pulled out of the house and airlifted to UC Davis Burns Unit. Michael says he's grateful for the quick response from Ophir Hill Fire Department and others.
You know, we live in the forest here, so if that house had gotten any worse, it could have been really disastrous.
Much of the Sierra Nevadas is in a high severity fire zone. Ophir Hill Fire Chief Rob Rothenberger says they take pride in reaching fires quickly despite mountainous terrain. But due to financial strains, providing critical emergency services has been tenuous of late due to rising running costs.
So it's been very challenging the last few years to, keep a budget that's, we're staying in the red somewhat and not going upside down. The last 2 years, if it wasn't for responding to large incidents out of our area, we would have been over budget.
With running costs exceeding their $827,000 budget, Ophir Hill and 2 other struggling stations have merged with Nevada County Consolidated Fire Department for financial stability.
We can merge administrative staff with some cost savings, and it'll give us a bigger pool of people to draw from.
Financial strain is affecting fire departments' ability to provide critical services across California, says League of California Cities Fire Chief Advisor Chris Niggs.
The funding mechanisms that we typically rely on, such as property tax, are really still living back in the 70s. They're 50 years old. They haven't kept up with the demand that we're facing.
Even in LA, with the nation's highest concentration of firefighters, the recent LA fires showed how uncontrollable wildfire can be, fueling urgent funding discussions in Washington, D.C., says California Metro Fire Chiefs President Dan Muncy.
We need to engage with elected officials in ways that we've never had before. So I'm back in Washington, D.C., I'm discussing these issues and others. The feeling I'm getting back from D.C. is that everybody wants to fix this problem.
Michael says he understands the importance of preparedness, especially for wildfires.
It's a topic of concern. I don't particularly like to talk about it because there's not much I can do. The forest catches on fire.
All right, boy, get down. That's enough. Get down.
Reality,
Get down.
Be addressed.
What am I gonna say? I say get down.
Fire season, something we still have to
Get a
consider
chancla?
around here, really around
Want
the
the
country.
chancla?
Thank you for that, James.
Get down.
Well, still ahead, Sarah Feely
Get down.
live in the city Palisades. Harper Collins is in Altadena, both looking into the aftermath of heavy rain.
You're like, don't nobody pay you no attention. Go on somewhere.
Good morning to you, Sarah. I can see some of the damage in the mud flow right behind you.
Go.
Yeah, here I am on PCH and Sunset Boulevard, and crews are cleaning up the extensive mud flow that came down to PCH during this storm. We'll talk about this more very soon, Calvin.
And I'm Genevieve Bloss. With thousands of homes lost in the Palisades and Eden fires, many families have been left with nothing. But on this Valentine's Day, one couple is finding hope by way of an unexpected gift. We've got their heartwarming story coming up.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Cal State Fullerton, empowering excellence through opportunity. Spectrum delivers the fastest internet speeds. Gig Internet has enough speed to handle all of your needs, so you can game on multiple devices, work, video conference, and download large files and stream 4K movies in crystal clear quality with a reliability you can count on. And with Spectrum Advanced Wi-Fi, you get enhanced security for all your connected devices. If it's connected, it's protected. Spectrum delivers the most reliable internet experience.
It's on Friday. I'll be on the field. You gonna be there?
Well done. Can you give me a minute? Thanks.
So, you have any plans on happy days? Like, I was thinking it was the guy.
Yeah, it's the guy.
Oh, my phone is so squishy.
Here, there, everywhere. Reliable internet where you need it most. With Spectrum.
Always dry scoop before you run. Listen, hot dog got me shredded.
It's time we listen to science. One A Day is formulated with key nutrients to support whole body health. One A Day, science that matters.
Why don't we grill an order at Wabakru? It's just better for you. Right now, get our valuable combo for over $8.99. Wabakru and 40. If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
Southern California. Your city, your issues, your show. In Focus SoCal, Saturday mornings at 11 on Spectrum News 1. Also available on the Spectrum News app.
Hello, Kate Cagle. This is your Spectrum News 1 hyperlocal update. The cleanup begins today after this week's soaker. You're looking at Trabuco Canyon after the last night's mud and debris flow. It's going to be closed through later today as crews clear out the mess, inspect the bridge, and reposition K-Rail. You want to steer clear of that area. We also want to show you, look at these images from PCH in Malibu. The Los Angeles Fire Department, PIO, sent us this footage of Las Flores Canyon Road. What a mess. Cleanup efforts continue there today with all that mud in the roadway. And an LAFD vehicle actually ended up in the Pacific Ocean. Crews will work to remove the car later today. This is the driver.
The Intercoastal Waterway along Florida's east coast is a maze of rivers, lagoons, and barrier islands that once served as hiding places for pirates, gun runners, and all sorts of people outside the law. These days, it's mostly a dream destination for outdoor enthusiasts.
Great surfing, fishing, great place to live, schools. I live over there myself. Small town feel. Beautiful place to live.
July 23rd, 2000. A local judge noticed something unusual floating in a river close to his property.
That man love his wife too. He do not play about her. Like, I rarely ever even see that lady walking anywhere by herself without him.
Floated out in the river, and it was a pretty good distance from his backyard. So he couldn't really tell with any certainty what it was.
But this was no manatee. It was the body of a young woman.
It was a Sunday afternoon. I was the on-call agent that day, so everything happening death-wise, I was getting a call. This is my fourth call of the day to respond to a dead person.
The victim was unclothed, had nothing to identify her, and had apparently been in the water for days, which destroyed some evidence.
There was no evidence of trauma. There's no gunshot wounds, no broken bones.
Whether she'd been raped or engaged in consensual sex before the murder was impossible to say. Decomposition was going to create trouble with evidence, but local police, who had some experience pulling bodies out of the water, were ready.
We had our divers out there, and they go down with a body bag into the water and put the body bag up around the body and pull it out to the water's edge. And that body bag is made to lick out the water. The water seeps out of the bag so that everything stays intact.
The victim had been bound around the hands and feet.
The rope itself was a nylon type rope that you would commonly see on sailboats or boats. It had a double diamond pattern to it, and the ends were burnt to apparently avoid fraying of the ends.
And the rope had some unusual knots, what are known as cow hitches.
These were knots that were done in a very specific way.
That was a knot that's consistent with being in the Navy.
And there was something intertwined in this rope, a strand of hair.
It was thicker and coarser than what a human hair normally is.
The victim also had duct tape wrapped around her eyes and neck.
But it's white instead of the standard silver or gray color.
Usually duct tape was gray or some other color now, but at that point in time, white duct tape was very rare.
I would really think it was that in itself that big of a deal. It later became part of a big deal, but at first it's just tape.
The killer clearly planned for his victim to sink to the bottom of the river. He weighed the body down by filling shopping bags with rocks and tying them to the body. But the bags were too flimsy.
The grocery bags had some distinctive markings on them. It had the design of Baby Club on it, and it also had a set of numbers on it that was unique in of the fact that these numbers represented the person operating the machine when it was made.
The location of the body also revealed a potential clue. To find out how it ended up where it did, investigators did what's called a drift test.
It's done with coconuts. You throw a bag of coconuts over a board bound by a net, the person's weight or whatever, and it was a true test at the time. It floated right up to the area where the body was.
And where it was one of the deepest parts of the river. Local people called it the Black Hole.
If you lived in this area for an extended period of time and you were active on the water, boating, fishing, anything like that, you would be aware of the Black Hole area.
This indicated the body was dumped from the boat, not from the bridge or from the shore. Clues were starting to come together. The use of a boat, the unusual knots in the rope, the body in the black hole. Investigators knew something about this. Problem is that they knew nothing about their victim.
Aveeno introduces new daily moisturizing cream. It's clinically proven to moisturize dry skin for 48 hours and instantly strengthens skin's barrier for softer, smoother skin. Aveeno, the power of oat for sensitive skin.
Choose Advil Liquid Gels for faster, stronger, and longer lasting relief than Tylenol Rapid Release Gels. Because Advil targets pain at the source of inflammation. So for faster pain relief, Advil, the pain away.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt. If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
National Debt Relief can significantly reduce the amount you owe.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt. Call or visit nationaldebtrelief.com to get started.
Your pain shouldn't be minimized or forgotten. When medicine gets better, all of us will get better.
Sometimes my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis gets in my way. But thanks to Skyrizi, I'm free to bare my skin. With Skyrizi, I saw dramatically clearer skin. And many people were 100% plaque-free. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now's the time. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Zyrtec allergy relief works fast and lasts a full 24 hours, so Dave can be the
Deliverer of dance.
okay, Dave. Let's be more than our allergies. Seize the day with Zyrtec.
Kids Baking Championship is being released into the wild.
We are all about animals this season.
Clearly you got a unicorn.
I got a hummingbird.
I was gonna say that next.
On new Kids Baking Championship, Monday night at 8.
Police were trying to identify the body of a young woman who'd been found murdered in the water off Florida's Atlantic coast.
We knew the manner of death being homicide, but we didn't have an exact cause of death, so there's an assumption that she was drowned.
At the same time, a local family was looking for their daughter. Her name was Misty Morse.
She was a carefree spirit, and she was also a friend magnet. Her mother and I always called her a friend magnet. Everywhere she went, she would instantly make friends.
On the night of July 19th, Misty, who had recently moved back in with her mother, said she was going out to meet some friends.
Misty appeared to be going out. She was getting dressed. She wanted to know what Mom thought of her outfit before she left.
When Misty didn't return home for a couple of days, her mother wasn't overly concerned.
She's 22 years old. It was not all that unusual for her to go spend the night with some friends or something, so her mom didn't think anything of it.
But after 4 days passed, Misty's family grew worried. Across town, and unbeknownst to them, investigators were employing a rare forensic technique to identify their victim. It's called degloving, and it involves removing skin from the victim's hands while keeping the prints intact.
They make an incision around the wrist of the individual and pull the entire outer layer of skin off of them, and it makes like a glove. One of the forensic technicians can slide their hand into that skin and roll the fingerprints for it.
Amazingly, the degloving worked. The prints from the dead woman matched Misty Morse, whose prints were on file after a misdemeanor arrest. When police arrived with the tragic news, Misty's family already suspected the worst.
When the Morse opened the door, when she opened the door, she immediately looked at me and said something like, "It's her, is it?"
I remember being dumbstruck. I just stood there almost like I was in a fog or I was there but I wasn't there.
Detectives' first question, who would want Misty dead? The answer, no one. At least, no one but family and friends.
I had no clue. I had absolutely no clue.
Since the killer tied the body up and transported it to the river, he'd have had plenty of time and privacy.
I just believe that it was obviously somebody that knew her. It was somebody that was really familiar with the area.
And he almost surely had a dog. Test results had come back from the strand of hair found with Misty's body.
It was a big deal. 2000. You know, you got the human DNA, you didn't have any dog DNA stuff going on at the time to speak of.
And there was someone in Misty's life who had a dog and a possible motive. His name was Brent Huck, and they dated off and on for years.
He came from a well-to-do family on Merritt Island. My understanding is that he received an allowance every month, so it wasn't as though he truly had to work.
Brent readily agreed to come to the sheriff's office for an interview. There, he told detectives that although his relationship with Misty was over, they continued to see each other.
Misty was a friend with benefits, as I remember him saying.
But officially, Brent and Misty were no longer dating. In fact, she had recently started seeing another young man.
He's a tough guy, he's known for being a tough guy, tatted up, that type of thing. I expected the worst out of him. I expected the guy just not to speak with me.
But he did speak. And what he told police ultimately put them on the trail of another man with a clear motive to harm Misty Morse.
Onboarding, benefits, time off requests, fixing payroll, yes.
Was that necessary?
No. Paycom automates everything. Get Paycom and make the unnecessary unnecessary.
That grimy film on your teeth.
Dr. G.
Actually, the buildup of fat bacteria, which can cause cavities.
Most toothpaste quit working in minutes, but Crest for Health's antibacterial fluoride protects all day.
It stops cavities before they start.
Crest.
Weight loss.
For so long,
I felt stuck. But Zepbound means change. Zepbound is for adults with obesity to help lose weight and keep it off.
It's changing what I believe is possible when it comes to weight loss. It's changing how much weight I lose. Up to 48 pounds.
And some lost over 58 pounds. Don't take if allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Stop Zepbound and call your doctor if you have severe stomach pain or a serious allergic reaction. Severe side effects may include inflamed pancreas or gallbladder problems. Tell your doctor if you experience vision changes, depression, or suicidal thoughts before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. If you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. Taking Zepbound with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and worsen kidney problems. Zepbound means change. Ask your doctor about Zepbound.
We just signed the lease on our third shop. My assistant went to customink.com to get new uniforms with all the locations. He found great products, uploaded new art, and had boxes sent to all the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at customink.com.
Welcome to the 100-degree sweat test. Which one of these two antiperspirants can stand up to the heat? That's it. Take it up a notch. Looks like ordinary antiperspirants can't take the heat. Ordinary antiperspirants can't fight sweat better than Secret Clinical.
choose Advil liquid gels for faster, stronger, and longer lasting relief than Tylenol rapid release gels. Because Advil targets pain at the source of inflammation. So for faster pain relief, Advil, the pain away.
Detect this. Living with HIV, Robert learned he can stay undetectable with fewer medicines. That's why he switched to Dovato. Dovato is a complete HIV treatment for some people. No other complete HIV pill uses fewer medicines to help keep you undetectable than Dovato. Detect this. Marnina learned that most HIV pills contain 3 or 4 medicines. Dovato is as effective with just 2. It is unknown if Dovato is safe and effective if you have HIV and hepatitis B. If you have Hep B, don't stop Dovato without talking to your doctor, as it may get worse or harder to treat. Don't take Dovato if you're allergic to its ingredients or taking Dofidilide due to serious or life-threatening side effects. If you have a rash or allergic reaction symptoms, stop Dovato and get medical help right away. Other serious or life-threatening side effects include severe liver problems and lactic acid buildup. If you're female or obese, you may be more at risk. Tell your doctor about your medicines or supplements, medical conditions, liver or kidney problems, pregnancy, breastfeeding, or planned pregnancy. Detect this. You could stay undetectable with fewer medicines. Ask your doctor about Dovato.
one-time boyfriend of Misty Moore's, emerged as a potential suspect in her murder.
I went there, of course, hoping this was our guy. And I'm working on this case, and there was something there.
But this young man had none of the things investigators were looking for in a suspect, and he was cleared.
He doesn't have a boat, he doesn't have the boating experience, and he certainly doesn't have the dog.
But this one-time boyfriend did have a lead on another potential suspect, a man who showed a lot of interest in Misty, and the police found was no stranger to the law.
Here's a guy that's got a felony arrest, a sexual battery in his background, who lives with his sister, no war, no gainful employment. The guy's going nowhere. And this, I'm thinking, is our best suspect, just a criminal.
His name was Teddy Underwood, an ex-convict with a violent past.
Actually, this is the guy. He has the history, he has the look, he has the life. I mean, everything that you're looking for, he is just checking off all the boxes.
Except for the boxes that in this case made all the difference. Teddy Underwood didn't have a boat. He was unfamiliar with the water. He didn't have a dog. He didn't even have a car. And he was eliminated as a suspect.
Whoever we're looking for has resources.
Which led investigators back to Brent Hawk. A background check showed Hawk had no prior criminal record, but he had been in the Navy. And that didn't go so well.
He had problems in the Navy, attitude problems, discharge.
Brent didn't advertise his discharge to friends. Instead, he bragged that he was a Navy SEAL, which was false.
All these friends of his, they all thought he was a Navy SEAL. Brent didn't even pass the swim test for the Navy.
And Brent had one of the key things investigators were looking for in a suspect. He was comfortable on the water and with boats.
He loved boats. He wanted to be a boat captain. I think he had actually captained some boats back and forth from the Bahamas or from South Florida to this area, and he was very comfortable being on the boat.
Brent appeared to be the only person with the resources to perpetrate this particular crime. Was there evidence to prove it? Investigators went to Brent's house, which happened right on the river where Misty's body was found.
His parents were away. They had other property in the Bahamas. He was the only occupant of the house at that time. He answers the door. This dog tries to rush out.
Brent and his dog were only too happy to welcome the police.
I'm standing there with my partner watching this. And we're looking at each other because we knew we were looking for, at least someone with a dog and mean to, here's the clean up a one.
So began an extensive search for possible evidence, starting with the dog.
I believe I felt bad getting the stain results on that dog. I had to pull 50 hairs from the dog.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I felt bad. He was a champ. He was a road the dog.
What detectives wanted to know was whether anything in the house could connect them to the crime scene.
I went into Brad's bedroom, and on the dresser I found a crumpled up piece of white duct tape.
A crime scene detective brings out a crumpled up piece of white duct tape. Brent's, jaw hits the floor.
I started getting the feeling that we were really onto something in this residence.
In the kitchen, investigators found a grocery bag that turned out to be identical to the ones used to weigh down Misty's body.
It had the same number system stamped onto it, so we knew at that juncture that that bag was manufactured by the same person on the same lane on the same shift.
But none of this evidence was conclusive. Detectives needed something more, and were looking to Brent's dog to provide it.
Yes. This year, we are finally updating our a tuned subway tile and an ivory or eggshell. Maybe bone. Don't get me started on quartz. Big island. Beautiful waterfall.
For everyone who talks about doing that thing, but never does that thing, Chase has financial guidance.
Start saving to make this happen. Really? Really?
At home or in person.
You can also check out a Chase Money Skills workshop.
That's guidance from Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Tackling quarterbacks or tackling subscriptions?
Whoa! If I had to choose tackling quarterbacks, because it's so easy to tackle subscriptions with experience.
Easy.
I'll go tackle those quarterbacks, even though it's hard. Download the Experian app now.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Cool.
NyQuil, Dr. Ashton makes vapors.
NyQuil Vapor Cool, the vaporizing nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, best sleep with cold medicine.
What if all I do for my type 2 diabetes isn't enough? Or what if?
Once weekly Mounjaro can help. Mounjaro helps your body regulate blood sugar. And can help you eat less food. Plus, 3 out of 4 people reached an A1C of less than 7%. And people lost up to 25 pounds. Don't take Mounjaro if you're allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or vision changes. Serious side effects may include inflamed pancreas and gallbladder problems. Taking Mounjaro with sulfonylurea or insulin may raise your low blood sugar risk. Tell your doctor if you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and may worsen kidney problems.
I can do diabetes differently. With Mounjaro.
Ask your doctor about Mounjaro. All doses available.
For the first time ever, the Challenge All-Stars is coming to MTV. The Challenge All-Stars Rivals. 13 All-Star pairs and rivals are about to battle it out on MTV.
There are X's car racers.
It's rivals, not allies.
I would love
This is so great.
Challenge All-Stars Rivals. All new this Wednesday. Watch on NC.
My name is Putu Ariyawan. I'm driving a Toyota Prius. This is a used car when I purchased it. The dealership checked from top to bottom, bumper to bumper. I know it's guaranteed. Besides the typical Toyota reliability, the value is there. It holds it down. You know, that's impressive.
Now get a low APR on a reliable Toyota certified used vehicle. We make it easy. Toyota, let's go places.
Brent Huck was emerging as the only suspect in the Misty Moore's murder. Police divers now search the river near the dock by his house. In the water, they found a piece of nylon rope that looked remarkably familiar.
That rope was a double diamond pattern nylon rope, similar in consistency to the rope we found on Misty Moore's.
And knots in the rope were the same unusual cowhitch knots that had been used to bind Misty's hands and feet.
People in the Navy, this is a knot that's taught to them as a routine part of their basic training.
But most damning was the DNA. Brent's dog on the mix. The breed was consistent with the dog hair found at the crime scene. And a mitochondrial DNA test indicated the hair from that dog was consistent with the hair found on Misty's body. The problem for Brent Huck was not that one single piece of evidence definitely tied him to the crime, because it didn't. His problem was the combination of all that evidence.
The state proved the case on the strength of the forensic evidence.
In October of 2002, Brent Huck was charged with kidnapping and first-degree murder. What was his motive? Oddly enough, he gave it up to police during his initial interrogation. He He told investigators that the night Misty was last seen, he was at a bar with several friends when he heard the disturbing rumor. That presents the problem. Brent Huck had just gotten engaged to a woman from West Palm Beach.
She was a socialite, if you will, the same caliber of society that his mother, I think, was more used to.
Brent admitted he became angry and called Misty from the bar. The prosecution argued that Brent was enraged at Misty's rumor of pregnancy. It was just a rumor. The autopsy showed she was not pregnant. Would break up this engagement. In their first phone call on her final night, they argued. In the second call, Brent said they patched things up. Prosecutors believe he picked Misty up and brought her to his house. Once there, she was at his mercy. He overpowered her, bound her hands and feet, tying her with a distinctive Howridge knots and double diamond rope. A single dog hair, later linked by DNA to his dog, was intertwined with that rope. He taped Misty's eyes and mouth shut with the unusual like duct tape later found in his house. He weighed her body down with the same kind of plastic bags also found in his house. Then he threw her into the black hole, mistakenly thinking all evidence of his crime would sink to the bottom of the river.
I think she was tossed overboard while she was still alive. What kind of evil person this must be. No remorse, no compassion for another person.
He thought that he was getting rid of his problem, but it's so stupid. You think of what back how many mistakes that he made. But you know what? The guy was drinking all the time. He's smoking pot. He was stupid. You know, he's just one of these guys. He's just making himself dumber by his lifestyle.
Following a 2-week trial, the jury deliberated just 3.5 hours before finding Brent Huck guilty.
It was funny to me. I mean, the way he reacted, he was stunned.
Right side not so bad.
Hmm?
I said right side not so bad.
You just ain't used to it.
This isn't possible. My dream team is going to get
That was my side before my damn edges started thinning out.
You like the right
Then I
side?
have to get used. Yeah, then I have to get used to the left side.